Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Aaron Hilliard. Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland. I'm out here in the forest with my dog Gunner. It's June. It is summertime. It's the end of June, and it is getting crunchy out here. But we're going to go into the woods, discover what kind of mushrooms are growing out in the forest. So thanks for joining Mushroom Wonderland. Make sure to hit subscribe and come with me and my dog Gunner to discover the wild mushrooms in summer of 2024.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
Oh, I see a mushroom over here in the woods. Let's go see what we got. Oh yeah, we got a mushroom popping out of the duff here. Bunch of branches and whatnot. And so there we go. Pretty mushroom. This one's got a lot going on. I'm going to get way down here. We're going to excavate it all the way from the base to see what we have growing here. Wow, there we go. All the way at the base. And you can see it's kind of coming out of this little sac down here. This is indicative of Amanita. So this is in the genus Amanita, white gills. These actually are related to your death cap, but these ones aren't nearly that poisonous. Different section of Amanita. So this one, we used to call it the Gemata Amanitas or the Gematoid Amanitas, but those are really a European taxonomy. So, I mean, current taxonomically speaking, I think this one is called Amanita pseudo-bracconii, but this one is Amanita, section Amanita, and it has these little spots on the cap, kind of like the Mario mushroom. Those are called universal veil remnants. It has white gills and this white skirt on it, and then instead of a sac or like a real sac vulva, this one just has like a sheath that the mushroom kind of bursts out of. So getting the base of an Amanita, really important to identifying features. This one containing iobotenic acid, muscimol. It's labeled as toxic in all field guides, but it could have some psychoactive effects right before you fall asleep. I heard it's not a good experience if you eat these, and a lot of people experience GI upset, vomiting, diarrhea, and such. But a handsome mushroom growing up out of the duff here. This is mycorrhizal, so it associates with the trees around here. So these conifer trees are host to a lot of different fungi. A lot of these large gilled fungi like this grow in association with these trees, and these are one of our spring amanitas or summer amanitas. So Amanita pseudo-bracconii, or what we would call the gemmed amanita, just if we're talking common names, which gets pretty confusing if we go that route, but I got some allergies, so if I sound a little stuffy, that's why. Right here we have another flush of mushrooms. There's several of them. One here, one here. Looks like more right up in here. Quite a few. And these ones, they're known as brittle stems because the stem kind of breaks like chalk. This one is deflated, been eaten by worms. It's old, it's past its prime. I'm going to pull up this younger, fresher one. And these two, mycorrhizal, growing with the trees here. And so when we break the stem on a russula, it breaks pretty clean. This one wasn't the greatest example, but a lot of mushrooms will shred apart and bend, but not a russula. These will often just break like chalk. So white gills, cream-colored spore print. A lot of these are edible. Some of them are acrid, but none deadly that I know of, especially not around here. I've heard of maybe one that could be dangerous, russula, maybe in Japan, but nothing to worry about here. But you see them growing here. The shrimp russula zarampolina, that grows in the same habitat here. These ones are all old, and it's got this kind of orange yellowing color, so I think these could be acrid, so probably not a good one to eat. Although some of them you can cook that acridity away, and these are just everywhere right now. So, you know, if I was in a pinch, I would try a little bite of one, but not today. Beautiful, look at this tree. We have a nice fruiting of Trametes versicolor, or the turkey tail mushroom. Growing here, a very medicinal mushroom. These ones are getting pretty degraded. You see they're all flaking apart, and that's too bad. They're hard like leather. I mean, you could still use them at this stage, but the fresh fruiting came out a couple months ago, so now we're into summer. But they're preserved on the tree, you know. You could pull these off and simmer them for a couple hours, maybe put them in a pressure cooker for an hour, and break down all these polysaccharides and chitin and stuff in these to make bioavailable all of the medicinal benefits, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant properties. So Trametes versicolor, the turkey tail mushroom, really common, easy to identify. It's going to have these concentric color rings. It's going to have a porous surface underneath. False turkey tail does not have these little pores underneath there, but it's not toxic either. So, but these are really highly studied for medicinal benefit. So one of the ones that I use, and I make some tea if I'm not feeling real great. But I'm going to leave these ones here. They've let out billions of spores into this forest, growing on an old big leaf maple snag here. And so this forest, whenever there's dead wood down, I can almost count on there always being turkey tail, which is really nice. So Trametes versicolor, one of the forageable ones you can get in the summer.
Here's some shrumps popping up out of the moss. I see one there. Oh, looks like there was one there. It might have got picked already, but definitely a big one here. Let's have a look at this. Oh, beautiful. Oh, look, there's a couple of them here. So the Russula brevipes. This one is the host for the lobster mushroom parasite known as Hypomyces lactiflorum. And so that parasite will attack this very mushroom, contort it, and turn it bright orange, and make it into a very sought after culinary edible delight. But these ones not really eaten in America, although it is totally edible and safe to eat. You can see a younger one coming up in here. And you know, the genus Russula, they all break like chalk. Well, there's a few here. So we've had some recent rains, and it's really helping out with these mycorrhizal mushrooms. These are in association with these big Douglas fir trees and western hemlock trees. We have one of each right here. They're both good ectomycorrhizal associates. But this one you could totally eat. In Russia, they eat these. In fact, a lot of the experts on this mushroom call them a Russula. I call it a Russula. I know people call it a Rusula. Whatever you want to call it. We all know what we're talking about. This guy is Russula brevipes, or the short-footed Russula. And it's a good one because it means that lobster mushrooms might be popping up. So I'm going to have to go check my lobster spots. But here another Russula brevipes getting all eaten up by bugs. But this flush came up super early summer. So typically a fall mushroom, but that's a good sign. Lobster mushrooms could be up. And I like finding them not only to eat, but to like dye fabric with. They're a wonderful mushroom, and they're exciting to find. They're beautiful. So gonna definitely have to go check that lobster mushroom spot. Ooh, there's a beautiful mushroom. It looks like something out of a cartoon or a fairy tale. See that? It's kind of this brownish, yellowish color with the white speckles all over it, just like a Mario mushroom. I'm gonna excavate that from the very, very base. Whoa, it's way down in there. Way down in there, and I broke the base off, dang it. But this guy would be in the Panther Amanita group, I'm pretty sure. Amanita pantheranoides. So this one can fruit all the way from winter into summer. And it's considered a toxic mushroom by every field guide and reputable mycologist. But it can be transformed into an edible through a process of cooking. And it can be used as some kind of a psychoactive because it does contain some mind-altering chemicals, although it's not your traditional magic mushroom. But very beautiful, white spores. I'll just leave that one behind.
Oh man, I think I just came across a summer delight. A lot of people are after these. Look at this. There they are, baby. The first ones I've found this year. I'm going to pluck these from the bottom. Look at that. Your golden chanterelle, your Pacific golden chanterelle, growing in the summertime. These are easily a beginner's choice mushroom because they're easy to identify. They're this kind of apricot color. These ones are very kind of sherbet colored here in the summertime. They're a lot drier. So unlike most mushrooms, these are more like veins. They're sort of like carved out of the stem rather than, you know, individual slits of paper. So that's what we call decurrent. And these are a couple of very nice chanterelles. They're usually very dry like this in the summertime, and great forageable. I personally have GI upset problems from them, but my wife loves them, so I pick them. But you know, just like any mushroom, when you try it your first time, just eat a little bit in case you have an adverse reaction like I do to these. But I sure do love to find them and forage them here in the summertime. So a great forageable edible mushroom that you can find growing right on the side of the trail in the summertime. But they are hiding. So we have a lot of like dead salal leaves laying around. You can see this habitat is salal and you know, Douglas fir and western hemlock. So this is a pretty typical western Washington forest, and you just got to have a sharp eye, and the more that you are able to kind of spot them, the easier it gets, and then your eye learns to detect this sherbet color. And but what a score! Chanterelles formosus. This one not Roseo canis. This one is not the rainbow chanterelle. Some people think that just because it grows in the summer that we call it a rainbow chanterelle. No, rainbow chanterelle, or Chanterelles roseo canis, more of a montane species, grows up in the mountains and has very vibrant orange pastel colored gills, where these ones are just the same color as the rest of the mushroom. And but these are very handsome, and I'm going to take these home and keep looking around. But that's awesome to see these out in June. That is really early to start seeing chanterelles in the Pacific Northwest. So they'll probably be fruiting all summer and into the autumn. So good news. You know, we're coming out of morel season right into chanterelles. How about that? This is about 300 feet above sea level in western Washington, June 28th, 2024. I hear people say in the comments, how are you finding these mushrooms? I'm not finding any mushrooms when I go into the woods. And I guarantee you I could find some forests that are really difficult to find mushrooms in. It seems like if I go to the really busy like state forests, state parks and stuff like that, I don't know, there's like no mushrooms growing in some of those places that are really heavily populated by people. I don't know if the fungi get shy of a lot of people, but there's certain places, certain forests that look like they should be ripe, but they just aren't growing there. So my best advice, if you want to go find chanterelles in the summertime, is to go to a place where you know you have found them in the fall. So they're easier to find in the fall because they're big and they're bright orange and very vibrant. In the summer, they're going to be much more discreet. They kind of look like dried up salal leaves. And so go to where you know chanterelles fruit and start looking around really closely. You know, sometimes I see them just by chance in the summertime, but it's kind of rare. I usually go to the places where I already know they're going to be fruiting. And you can find chanterelles this early. So, you know, you don't got to wait all the way till September or October like I used to think you did. You can find them out there right now. Check these out. These are our red huckleberries. These are amazing. They're pretty tart. My grandma would have us pick these when we were kids. And when they're big, they're pretty juicy, but still very tart. I remember being a kid, gathering enough, and my grandma making some jam. I think she just put like a whole cup of sugar in, smashed these up. And we put it on our toast. It was the greatest thing ever. She started me foraging young. So red huckleberries out in force right now at the end of June. Man, they're everywhere and they're delicious. What did I just see right here? Oh my goodness. Y'all see what I see? Right here, in the end of June in 2024, we already have lobster mushrooms. Look at that. Hypomyces lactiflorum. So this is a parasite attacking a different mushroom. The Russula brevipies plays host to this parasite that turns it orange and contorts it and wrinkles it. Look at that. Gorgeous specimen. Wow. Finding chanterelles and lobster mushrooms in the end of June right in Western Washington. I used to not think it was possible, but they're out here. I promise you, people. The more you look, the better you get at looking for mushrooms. So these are a real delicacy. Personally, I like them a lot. They have a kind of a crunchy texture, and you know, they make themselves known in a mushroom dish, which I appreciate. They don't just turn into mush. And so growing here, I often find this kind of salmonberry and mossy. You know, this is a conifer dominant forest, and they just come right up out of the moss. They're growing out of the ground. I'm not sure if the parasite lands on the fruiting body or if maybe it's underground parasitizing the mycelium and then they just come up already parasitized. But awesome. You can see where this came out of the moss like that. And they can often be hiding under the moss. Now, I don't want to start tearing the ground up. Some people will do that. That drives me crazy. You know, if they want to be seen, they'll be seen. They'll make themselves obvious. So you saw it here on Mushroom Wonderland. We have lobsters and we have chanterelles coming up. So in the next week, I'm sure I'm going to see more. I bet you there's a whole crop of lobsters growing just under the moss, just where I can't see them. But it's exciting because we just went from truffles into morels and then on to lobster mushrooms and chanterelles already. So exciting. There's never a dull moment here on Mushroom Wonderland. If you're into the fungal stuff, you got to make sure to hit subscribe and maybe hop over to mushroom-wonderland.com, get some merch. But stoked, man. Tell your friends. The lobster mushrooms are up. You saw it here on Mushroom Wonderland. So these mushrooms, just like the chanterelles, they're mycorrhizal, ectomycorrhizal, meaning that they live in association with these evergreen trees. So if you find a place where these grow, you know, they'll come back every year because they're attached to those tree roots. And some years are worse than others. But this is a pretty exciting start to find chanterelles and lobster mushrooms. So go to the places where you found lobsters before and look carefully. But these ones are big and bright enough that you might just stumble upon them. Really exciting. These not only good food, but a good dyer's mushroom for dyeing fabric and stuff like that. So very valuable mushroom. This one's in perfect shape. Really, really awesome. Stoked. Gunner, what are you doing? Hey. Oh, he's scratching himself. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Big galoot. He just went and jumped in the swamp, and now he's covered in fir needles. Great. Thanks, dude. Just in time to go get in the car, huh? You mutt. So I've got an opportunity this summer to be instructing some courses at Olympic College on introductory mycology. And I'm super excited for this. I've been having fun designing these classes. It's a 3-class deal and then a foray at the end where we're going to learn everything about fungi. Not everything, obviously, but I'm going to kind of skim over the topics of what is fungi, the history of mycology, wild mushrooms, mycorrhiza, saprotropes. We're going to talk about cultivation, ethnomycology, that's humans using mushrooms for various reasons. And we're going to go out into the forest and talk about habitat and mushrooms. So if you're in the area, you can go to Olympic College online and just look up continued education, sign up for the course. It's only like 80 bucks and it's 3 Wednesday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. And you can join me and we can learn about mushrooms together, have all kinds of good Q&A. So make sure to hop over there and join my class. And yeah, I'm stoked for the opportunity. I hope that I see you guys there. So I hope this gives some hope to the foragers to get out there into the woods. Your favorite fall mushrooms are already popping up. We're kind of off to a little bit of a cool start to the summer, which I appreciate. The last few summers have been so crunchy and dry and hot here in the West. You know, a lot of people think it does nothing but rain here, but that's totally not true. In fact, anywhere east of the Rocky Mountains gets more summer rain than we do. Y'all get big thunderstorms and stuff like that. It is just dry and crunchy here all summer long. So the more rain we can get, the better. And it's been kind of a mixture of 70-degree weather and rain, which is perfect. And some of these mushrooms are responding to it. So get out there in the woods, get your chanterelles, get your lobster mushrooms. Make sure to hit subscribe. We'll see you on the next one. Much love, everyone. Peace out.